That's not the grossest sound you've ever heard. Hello everybody and welcome to Friday's edition of the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. 3 news shows this week. Anybody think I had something to talk about? Actually, there's a few news stories out today, so without further ado, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live with our videos. Without further ado, let's get into news. First up in the news, let's talk F1 stars. Fernando Alonso has been involved in a road traffic accident while he was out cycling over in Switzerland. His F1 team put out this statement over on Twitter saying, Alpine F1 team can confirm that Fernando Alonso has been involved in a road accident while cycling in Switzerland. Fernando is conscious and well in himself and is awaiting further medical examinations tomorrow morning. Alpine F1 team will not make any further statement at this point in time. Further updates will be given tomorrow. Over in Italy, Gazzetta dello Sport broke the story saying Alonso hit by bike. That's just bad translation, that. Fractured jaw, Alpine, conscious, now the exams. Basically, the news story is saying that he's fractured his jaw and he's damaged his teeth, but other than that, it seems that Alonso has gotten away with this. Unfortunately, we don't have any more information on what actually happened in the accident. Was it his fault? Was it the car's fault? What was involved in it? It's all pure speculation, and it's not very nice to speculate on a crash where it leaves somebody in hospital. In fact, Niels Helden's massive F1 fan, answer me this: how will this affect his Formula One season? Will it affect it? Is he capable of winning a world championship anymore at 39 years old? I don't know. But yeah, it's not, one, it's not a great start to his season. 2, it's never nice when you get hit by a car whilst on your bike. But 3, luckily, it looks like he's, I say luckily, fractured a jaw and busted his teeth up. That ain't great, but it sounds like he lives to fight another day and he'll make a full recovery. So our well wishes are with Fernando Alonso. Doesn't watch the show, never heard of it, but you got to do the nice thing, haven't you, and just be nice to people and send out love and positivity. Such a shame. Next up, and we touched yesterday on the Giro d'Italia and the race organisers announcing what teams will be there. The Strade Bianche has just released their start list for the women's race. 23 teams are going to be taking part in the women's Strade Bianche. That's awesome. So there's going to be 9 Women's World Tour teams, 6 top-ranked continental teams, and 8 wildcard teams. Hesh. And obviously in that starting lineup of those 23 teams, you have the new Jumbo-Visma women's team led by Marianne Vos. It'll be interesting to see how she fares against Movistar's Annemiek van Vleuten. Now, sticking with the Women's World Tour, and it's something I meant to touch on earlier in the week, former Ineos Grenadiers CEO Fran Miller actually spoke in a recent Rouleur magazine interview about the potential and the possibility of a Team Sky women's team within their setup. But unfortunately, it was rejected at the board level. Over on Cycling News, Miller told Rouleur that she'd met with Dignan after her silver medal performance in the 2012 Olympic elite women's road race won by Marianne Vos to discuss the potential of creating a women's programme at Team Sky. She also said she believed that there was an earlier opportunity to build a women's team following Nicole Cook's victory in the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games. Miller said, we were pushing and raising it at every board meeting. There was a window of opportunity at the early outset of post-Beijing era where we could have done something to really shift the dial. It was a decision that was made at Sky board level. I don't think it was Dave B's decision, to be fair to him. But not seizing the opportunity was, with hindsight and oversight, there was a generation of young women that did miss out. Lizzie had to blaze her own trail, as have many others. Clearly, it was an oversight from Team Sky, from Sky, the sponsors. They could have put, I mean, listen, the men's budget is, it's in excess of, I want to say 35 to 40 million pounds or euros nowadays. It doesn't cost that much to run a women's team. Now, we need more money in women's cycling, that's for sure. But they don't need a budget of 30 to 40 million just yet. So a budget of $1 mil, $2 mil will be more than sufficient to start that team and get that ball rolling. And it surprises me that they weren't the first to do this, because clearly there's been loads of women's teams, but no team has taken it to that level where it needs to go to get women's cycling rolling the way it should. And I'm not saying the teams that aren't around now aren't doing a good job, but back in 2010, 2008, there was a real opportunity, like Fran said, to really step it up a level, to take it to the next level, to show that women's cycling is worth investing in and give those riders that opportunity and that chance to earn some good money, to race in good races and bring along bigger sponsors, which in turn will bring on bigger races, which will in turn bring bigger revenues in, which in turn will bring bigger riders in, which means more women will get into cycling, which means it'll be a, what's one of them things, like a self-fulfilling prophecy, wouldn't it? It just roll from there. I'm not saying Team Ineos and Team Sky were the only thing stopping that from happening, because it's starting to thrive. Slowly but surely it's starting to thrive. But I do feel like Team Ineos Grenadiers are missing a massive opportunity in not having a women's team on the World Tour scene. As always, leave your comments down below on this one. What do you think? Is it about time that Team Ineos Grenadiers stepped up to the plate and brought in a women's team? Let me know down below. Racing news now. Yesterday we saw the Tour de la Provence start. Stage 1 was it was a bloody good race. It was nice to see racing back. It was the first time I've actually sat and watched a race. Julian Alaphilippe, Julien Ciccone, Johnny Moscon. Fair play, lads. That was some good riding. They tried to get in a 3-man break towards the end of the race. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. But what I loved about this, Alaphilippe tried one last dig right towards the end with about 3k to go, something like that, up a little crest. He had an attack, it didn't work out, they got caught, and what did he do? He went and sat on the front of the peloton to help drag it out, to help his teammates. What a boy. But the real talking point is this moment here in the race with less than a kilometre to go. We've spoke in the past week about the UCI banning Aerotuck, banning forearms on bars. We've talked about them banning throwing bottles out of the peloton. But how about banning race organisers that deem this fine in a race finish? We spoke about the race finish last weekend, going through a roundabout with 500 metres to go, mud on the floor, just, oh, but look at this. Zero warning. How one rider went down, you just saw it right at the back of the pack, but how that didn't cause an absolute massive pile up. Nothing wrong with that being there, nothing wrong with coming into a pinch point, but put someone on there, block off one side of it so you can't go around the left side, you can only go around the right side. How difficult is that? A few cones. That would have directed them along the side of the curb, everyone would have come into that pinch point. Might have been a little bit thin, but if the roadbook had said that, or someone had noticed that, then the riders would have been made aware of it, and then boom, they would have all got through fine. I mean, luckily, they all got through fine, but come on now. Zero warning that thing was there, and that was a big raised curb. One or two of them hit that at the front of the peloton. But what is the answer? What is the answer? Do they fine the organisers of the race and say that wasn't good enough? Do they put more money into safety? Do they spend more time researching the routes to make sure that they are safer? Now, do these routes look slightly different in a car than they do on a bike when the whole peloton's coming towards it? Do the race organisers go down that road and not even notice that because they think, right, all the riders are going to stick to this part here, they'll all go down there, we don't need to worry about that? I really don't know the answer, but when you see it from the front view, and you see all those riders coming up, and you see how they split and how lucky they all were, you can't help thinking to yourself, which idiot missed that? Which idiot thought that was safe? It baffles me, it absolutely baffles me. Anyway, as ever, let me know your comments down below. And I don't like using this word, acronym. But how many of you have bought the new subscription to GCN Plus? Because as much as I joke about slating them, they're just a massive behemoth now. There's no way of getting around that. The fact that they're showing these races that wouldn't normally be televised is pretty amazing. And the price is reasonable as well. And I hate pushing people across to another platform, but if you want to watch racing, especially racing that you don't often get to see, it's not bad. You can't even watch it here, so it's not like they're not a competitor. How can they be a competitor when they've got millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of subscribers? But at the same time, God damn them. But fair play. So if you want to watch the racing, why don't you, I'm not going to link it, but why don't you go and search for it and you'll be able to find it. And they've got a decent offer on at the minute. I don't know how long the offer lasts for, but listen, go and watch it. It's good racing. It's good content. It really is. And that's it for today. That's it for this week. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live with our videos. If you've disliked the video for whatever reason, hit that dislike button. But above all, leave your comments down below. And before anybody comments on this, asking when's it coming back, when the global pandemic is over, when bikes are readily available, we will be bringing Win Your Dream Bike back. We didn't even start to scratch the surface with it, and we can't wait to bring it back. But when we bring it back, we want it to be much smoother for you, the user. We want it to be much easier for us to be able to get bikes. And we want the whole experience to be a lot more fun than it actually has been, because it's been pretty stressful at the end of last year. But anyway, it will be back, so you don't need to ask any more questions about it. Just let's be able to actually buy some bikes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will see you again on the next one.